Welcome to Good Morning Gonzaga. I'm your host, Gracie Chavez.
And I'm Bailey Stapleton. Today we will update you on the nation's new cybersecurity precautions as well as look back on Spokane's recent stormy weather. Later on, we have reports about Gonzaga's theater program and ways you can be involved on campus. First, Gracie brings you our first national story.
In order to take precautions against the threat of ransomware attacks, U.S. officials are urging businesses and online organizations to heighten security. Ransomware, also known as malware, attacks consumers by interfering with their data access. It demands ransom, usually in the form of cryptocurrency. Since holiday online shopping is well on its way, the threat for ransomware attacks is higher than ever. Due to the worldwide dependence on the online marketplace, FBI and cybersecurity workers are prepared to have IT workers on call in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Gracie. Up next, we have reporter Sophia Santos at Zagatron to tell us more about the recent high winds in Spokane and its effects.
Thanks, Bailey. Last week, a windstorm plowed through Spokane in northern Idaho. The wind, blowing as fast as 60 miles per hour, caused visible damage, including fallen trees and broken power lines. Luckily, there were no reported injuries. Thousands of citizens have been left powerless. Avista is racing to get power back to over 40,000 customers. There's additional urgency due to the potential incoming snow and rainstorms. Let's hope the crews are able to work swiftly and safely. Reporting for Good Morning Gonzaga, I'm Sophia Santos. Back to you at the desk.
Gonzaga's fall musical, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, enjoyed 4 well-attended performances this past weekend. Reporter Bailey Dunlap visited the Myrtle Woolson Performing Arts Center to take a closer look during production.
This past week, staff and student alike have been prepping for the opening night of The Mystery of Edwin Drood here at the Myrtle Woolson Performing Arts Center. In production for the last 2 months, Edwin Drood is the first musical theater production the space has seen and will bring the pack out of its 18-month theater drought. Based on Charles Dickens' unfinished work of the same name, Rupert Holmes created his own world and endings for the piece.
Where Dickens dies, we don't know what the ending's supposed to be. So from there, the audience votes on almost 50 different permutations of what could possibly be the ending. So we come back, night after night, theoretically could see 4 different shows.
On stage, it's supposed to be this kind of venue that is used over and over and over again by these actors that are doing the show over and over and over again.
What Drood has in spades is it has a lot of different musical styles, so it can really accommodate that wide range of skill sets in terms of vocal ability. It also has tons of opportunity for dance and choreography. It's been stunning to me how much the student base is focused on learning broadly, and I've loved the fact that the cast and all the students that I've worked with have been focused on that as their agenda with this show. They're not just looking at, let's put on a show. They're looking at, let's put on a show and grow as human beings while we're doing it.
With GUTV, I'm Bailey Dunlap.
That sure looks like fun. It's good to see live theater is back at the Myrtle Woolson.
Yes, it is, and if you are a theater fan and didn't get the chance to audition for that amazing show, don't worry. The theater department has much more in store for us this year.
Yes, and we have Sophia Santos in the Opila Suite to tell us more.
Thank you, Gracie. Auditions are coming up for 2 spring productions here at the Gonzaga campus. Our first production, our main production, will be A Bright Room Called Day by Tony Kushner. This will be in the Magnuson Theater. The show takes place during World War II Germany and will have a cast of 10 people. The second show will be a read of the feminist play The Waiting Room by Lisa Loomer. This show will have 11 parts. It is also a great opportunity for those of you who would love to get involved in the theater world, minus the memorization. Auditions for both these shows will be on November 29th in the Magnuson Theater. You're watching Good Morning Gonzaga. I'm Sophia Santos, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sophia, for that informative piece on the upcoming auditions. Next up, reporter Elise Jawed explored the world of techno-feminism right here on GU's campus. We turn to her to learn how this can help with climate activism.
I'm here outside the Jepson Center on Gonzaga University's campus, where the Wolf Auditorium will host authors Carolyn Cunningham and Heather Crandall. The speakers will discuss their book Fridays, Flint, and Fire, the Climate Girl Effect that explores girls' techno-feminist activism in the climate justice movement. Carolyn Cunningham and Heather Crandall, affiliate professors at GU, have researched, published, and presented together for years. They focus on topics surrounding gender, technology, and social media activism.
Technofeminism shows us how gender influences technological design and innovation. So for example, the reason we're showing you a minivan is because the first minivan was actually designed by an all-women engineer team.
Climate girl icons such as Greta Thunberg use their resources to raise awareness with the power social media gives them.
So one of the things that a lot of these climate girls that we've studied are doing is using their platforms to make a difference and to show where the work is and and to keep focus on it.
The authors explained how activism today takes the form of apps and video games. That is how they coined the phrase techno-feminism.
I wasn't really aware as to how deeply entrenched some of these issues are in our society, and so really the way to tackle those is awareness.
Gonzaga University prides itself on its commitment to social and environmental justice, but freshman Olivia Galbraith says all schools can do more.
Climate activism and policy become part of the core curriculum and teach students that it takes more than just protest or using your voice to make change. You actually have to do something about it.
Cunningham and Crandall's book, Fridays, Flint and Fire, is available for purchase, and both authors are available by email to discuss how you can get involved as an activist. For GUTV, I'm Elise Jowett.
It's great to see what both professors and students at Gonzaga want to do to make a change.
It sure is, Gracie, and it's great knowing that we have so many people willing to make an impact in climate change.
Yes.
Before we go to our first break, we want to remind viewers to stay tuned for our next segment that covers music at a national and local level. Coming up, we have details about student music performances here on campus, as well as the recent review of the Harry Styles concert. Later on, we'll be joined by a special guest in the studio.
You're watching Good Morning Gonzaga, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Good Morning Gonzaga. We now return with a focus on all things music. Whether you're an avid listener or a hopeful musical performer, this segment is for you. We turn to Bailey for more about the recent Grammy nominations.
4 days ago, the Recording Academy announced the nominees for the 64th Grammy Awards. Among the nominees include popular artists such as Doja Cat, Lil Nas X, and Olivia Rodrigo. If you tune into the 64th Grammy Awards on January 22nd, you'll be sure to see several categories in addition to pop artists. Other categories include the genres of country, rap, and R&B. There were also nominations for the music and media, such as films and music videos. You can watch the 64th Grammy Awards hosted by Trevor Noah on January 22nd, 2022 on CBS.
As more Americans achieve a fully vaccinated status to protect against the Delta variant, the return to live music as we know it grows closer every day. We are thrilled to see artists starting to tour again as music venues open up. Though this is very exciting, there are many precautions in store to help promote a safe and healthy experience. Regulations vary depending on state and venue, but almost all concerts will be requiring masks. Select venues may even require concertgoers to be fully vaccinated in order to attend the show. It is expected that some venues will have limited capacity. Although it won't be the traditional concert experience, we're still very excited to be able to see our favorite artists live.
Thank you, Gracie. As it just so happens, our reporter, Sophia Santos, is here to give us her opinion of the recent Harry Styles concerts at the LA Forum on November 19th. Tell us about your experience, Sophia.
Thanks, Bailey. I had the pleasure of attending the recent Harry Styles Love On Tour at the iconic venue, The Forum. The show was absolutely incredible and one of the best concerts I've ever attended. Harry did an amazing job holding the audience's attention and keeping everyone entertained. His vocals were impeccable. He sounded even better than his recorded songs, which I didn't think was possible. The Forum is also known to have some of the best acoustics out of all the venues in LA, which I think definitely enhanced the experience. An exciting moment from the show was when he sang his popular unreleased song, Medicine. My experience was almost perfect, but the one negative was the forum's lack of organization. They had poor communication with the concert attendees, which led to hour-long lines and extreme crowding. Other than that, the concert was a 10 out of 10 experience. Reporting for Good Morning Gonzaga, I'm Sophia Santos. Back to you at the desk.
Well, the LA Forum isn't the only place you can check out some live music.
That's right, Bailey. As the holiday season approaches, there are several opportunities for you to see performances from Gonzaga's own student music department. You can expect upcoming performances from the Jazz Ensemble, the Symphony Orchestra, and Choir program. These concerts will be held in the Coughlin Theater, located in the Myrtle Woodson Performing Arts Center. For more information, including dates and times, visit www.gonzaga.edu/music. Tickets may be free to GU students depending on the event, but they must be reserved regardless.
Wow, the Gonzaga Choir is sounding really great this year. I know I'll be reserving my tickets. Gonzaga students, are you interested in performing your own independent music for your peers? GSBA's weekly coffee house may be the place for you. Every Wednesday night, the Hemden showcases GU student talent from 8 to 9 p.m. Past performances have included student-formed bands, the Big Bing Theory a cappella group, and other various solo acts. If you have a musical talent you would like to share with the GU community, contact the Student Coffee House Coordinator, Anna Hermes.
I don't know about you, Bailey, but I will definitely be going to see these performances.
Without a doubt, Gracie, it's always great to support our local Gonzaga musicians.
All right. After the break, we are joined by Ethan Harrison from a local band, Nixon Rodeo. Live in our studio from Good Morning Gonzaga, I'm Gracie Chavez.
And I'm Bailey Stapleton.
We will see you after the break.
This is it. Round zero. This is where it all started. The epidemic, the masks, the quarantine, the chaos. This is where it all began.
Remember to wear your mask and report all symptoms. May God be with us all.
And this is where it could have all been stopped.
The experience that you have abroad is going to be as meaningful, I believe, as the effort that you put into it. I hope that what Study Abroad and what the Center for Global Engagement in particular does is that it opens up the whole campus to both differences and both that engagement, that willingness to change, and by doing that lift you up in a way that expands your mind and helps you engage the world in a different way. Go abroad.
I'm fine. You know, this year's going a lot better. I'm making friends. I'm not as homesick. I've started talking about it. I don't take those meds anymore. And those thoughts, they don't scare me as much. But am I okay? I mean, I think I'm okay. I don't really know what to tell people. No one's really asked me that in a while.
Welcome back to Good Morning Gonzaga. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Ethan Harrison right here in our studio. Ethan is the drummer in the prominent local band Nixon Rodeo, located here in Spokane. Welcome to Good Morning Gonzaga, Ethan.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So just to start off, you want to tell us a little bit about who Nixon Rodeo are and kind of how you guys came up with your name?
Yeah, for sure. So Nixon Rodeo has been around for almost 12 years now, which is super long time. You were probably actually really young at the time that we started, and so it's crazy to think a third of my life has been doing this band. The name came about by the original guitarist just sending random demos. He would just send different ideas with really silly names, and one of them was called Nixon Rodeo, and he just made it up because Nixon was kind of notorious for being the bad president, and then rodeo is another word for like a party, so it's just kind of like a crazy, like, good time, kind of capitalizes the essence of who Nixon Rodeo is.
And do you have any bands particularly, or any specific musicians that have kind of inspired you guys, or you in your own drumming?
Yeah, it's all over the board since we kind of play a a mix of all music, like rock, metal, punk, pop, and whatnot. So it's kind of all over the place. For us, I guess you would say we're kind of a mix of maybe The Offspring meets Rise Against or A Day to Remember, but it's really all over. When I started playing drums, I used to watch videos of Tommy Lee from Motley Crue and just like study how he would spin his sticks and stuff, and so I'm just into more big performances and bands like that.
Awesome. And kind of talking about the performances, looking at Spokane, how has that been kind of different for you guys playing here than some of the other cities?
Yeah, Spokane's just our hometown. Most of us grew up in Spokane as well, and so it's always great to be in the hometown and see the familiar faces, but it's great to be able to travel to other cities and get good reception and then build a fan base in those areas. So Boise is probably our like favorite out-of-town area. They have a knitting factory in Boise as well, and that's like our favorite venue to play at. But shows kind of just depend on the style. Sometimes we'll be playing a big festival, like we've played on like Warped Tour, or you'll be playing and opening a show for a big band. So it's all over the place, and it doesn't matter too much of where you're at as long as like the crowd's there and excited to have a good time.
And kind of just segueing out of that, is there any specific experience that you guys have had? I know you recorded your live CD recently at the Knitting Factory here in Spokane. Is there any specific memory you guys have that you love about being there?
Yeah, the Knitting Factory holds a special place in our hearts just because it's kind of the premier rock venue in town, and so we've played there many times. That's probably maybe the best show we've ever done when we did record that live DVD and CD. There's just so much that went into the production and whatnot. So it was great to be able to have a ton of cameras and microphones and capture that night in the full essence of what it was, and so that was really special to have that, and now it's great to have it out.
And kind of playing in the Knitting Factory, how's that been different for you guys compared to some of the other venues? I know some of the artists that I've spoken to, the acoustics tend to be a lot different in such a smaller setting. How has that been kind of something for you guys to undertake?
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's hard because a lot of that's out of your control, you know, and it's whatever's happening with the sound guys, and what the crowd hears a lot different than what we hear because we have our own monitors. So I'm kind of dictating exactly what I want to be able to hear. So if I need more guitar and that's specifically all I need, then it might be very different. So it's kind of hard to say when it comes to that because it's just a different experience all over, but it's definitely different from when you're like playing an outdoor venue than you're playing an indoor venue, and then depending on the size. But usually the Knitting Factory has really dialed in music, sound going on. So.
And kind of talking about your fan base, I read in a recent interview that you guys refer to your fans as family. Would you kind of care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we really do think of it that way, especially we've been a band now for so long, and so that goes to show even for the longevity of fans coming out for now over a decade. But even since the beginning, we just had such a strong, rabid fan base that would come out, and because they were going to shows over and over, they just got to recognize people. And so now every time you go out to a show, you're gonna like just be in this long line of like hugging all these people and recognizing and catching up. So it really does feel like a close experience instead of just going out and enjoying the show by yourself or whoever you brought. You know you're going to come, and it's just a big collective experience, and that's where I think that family essence comes into play with Nixon Rodeo.
Awesome. Well, kind of just to finish it off here, Ethan, what are the future plans for Nixon Rodeo? What do you guys have lined up here for this next coming year?
Yeah, pretty exciting. In January, going back in the studio to finish the album. We've been working on this now for a number of years. By the time it comes out, it'll be about 7 years since our last record came out. So it's going to be extra long. So we should have that out probably by the middle of 2022, and it'll be great to have our 4th actual record out, and it'll be about double the size of the other ones as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me this afternoon, Ethan. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. And thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning Gonzaga. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Stapleton, and we'll see you next time.